We finally got some updates coming out of Ethan Taylor, five-star center in the class of 2026, and his visit to Michigan State. He was on site for Midnight Madness. Michigan State students treated him like a king. There were Ethan Taylor chants throughout the night, and basically sounds like the entire Michigan State program, from the coaching staff to the players to the fan base, threw their best collective punch together at landing the best player on their recruiting board for the class of 2026 right now. Ethan spoke on this. He gave an interview with Jason Killip from On3. Shout out to Jason, who writes for the Spartan Mag on On3. And the quote from Ethan was, "I don't think I have ever experienced something like that night." It's a pretty rosy quote from Mr. Ethan Taylor. To back this up, not only do we have Ethan's interview with On3, but we also have a Joe Tipton update. Tipton Edits, who also writes for On3, but looks at the more national recruiting scene. He gave just a paragraph on what he's hearing on Ethan Taylor coming out of this Michigan State visit. This is what Tipton wrote. Make sure you go subscribe to On3 so you can get all these updates for yourself in real time, by the way. Quote, "Michigan State is building momentum at the right time. The visit to Kentucky is now off. Kansas, Oklahoma, and Indiana are trying to hang in there. I would expect a final decision sooner rather than later." End quote. Is he Michigan State bound, Dion? Is that how you're interpreting these updates?
That's definitely how I'm interpreting it. I don't know if there's any other way to interpret it at the moment. It just feels like everything's going Michigan State's way with this commitment or with this recruitment, including like prior commitments and players going to spots that like Ethan Taylor was considering. It's going to go one or two ways for me. He's either, if he really does commit soon, it's Michigan State. If he pushes it, he's waiting on somebody else to get involved. I do think this, though, when it comes to Ethan Taylor, just because he commits to Michigan, I don't think, or excuse me, Michigan State, I don't think this one's over by any means. Ethan Taylor has like decommit flip, in my opinion, like possibilities of all the potential recruits.
Why do you
I do
say
want
that?
I just feel like there's bigger offers on the way for an Ethan Taylor as some of the other big man prospects commit. And I think he could be like he might be certain teams like second off like Kentucky doesn't get say on Cada. I think they circle back on an Ethan Taylor type of situation. And I think some teams could circle back with Ethan Taylor. I don't know that he would actually decommit. I just think that Michigan State is going to continue recruiting him for the next few months until it's like fully done type of thing. Kind of like not not to give Woodson credit, but like kind of like the Trent Sisley situation where it's like you kind of are constantly making sure he doesn't decommit type of deal. But I do want to say this to all the 17-year-olds. They always have a tendency to say they've never experienced anything like their visit before. It's because you're in high school, man. So like that's why
Because you're
respect it.
17? Yeah.
Yeah. I love what Michigan State did. I'm sure they rolled out the red carpet. That's the only red carpet that's been rolled out for a lot of these guys because they're 17. So like I love the quote. I love what happens at the visits, but I do just want to bring a little reality to the situation too. They're 17. They ain't experienced much at all.
Okay, very fair. Listen, I hope that you're right with everything that you've just laid out. I don't think you are, and I hate disagreeing with you. I think I'm in a position here where I need to like crawl into a corner and pretend I'm not paying attention to this, but that's not how this works. I run a content channel covering college basketball, and when cool things happen, we have to cover them, and I'm going to cover them honestly and accurately, even though this is a terrible development for my Michigan Wolverines program because Tom Izzo's back at it again. Tom Izzo shook the dust off. Tom Izzo, who has recruited like he's coaching at a mid-major for 4 years, finally decided to remind people that he's one of the five best coaches in the history of this sport. And oh, by the way, he's still here. And oh, by the way, I'm not leaving. And oh, by the way, NIL, we have a little bit of that. We have competitive offers now. I don't know what got into him. He must have finally had a summer where he didn't need new floaties or inner tubes for the cottage up north. Apparently, he had a little more budget, Dion, for players this time around. And I think his program's going to end up benefiting from it. Um, Look, on a serious note, Michigan State as a program is incredibly unique. And I say that as someone who experienced the school, and I say that as someone who is so messed up in the head that I root for their rival. And I say that as someone who can honestly, as a rival, still respect all of the unique elements of Michigan State, the program. Dion, how's your job going?
Beginning of the school year, everything's like a little up and down. One of the biggest issues we've had is we can't find any uniforms for our girls' sports teams.
Mm, that's a difficult thing to find a solution for. I know damn well all about that because I got a daughter that just turned 2. She's into sports and she's already outgrowing every little piece of sports apparel she had. Thankfully, I know Clara Kate Creations. Clara Kate Creations was started by a former high school teacher who quit because it wasn't cost effective to send new twins and a 2-year-old to daycare. She found it easier to make girl sports apparel than finding it to buy. And I am so thankful that she exists because if we have an old shirt of Murph's that she's outgrown, we can send it in and she takes that piece of apparel that means something and upcycles it into an outfit that Murphy can now wear as she grows up. She makes great stuff. It's honestly kind of like your fullback's wife, Kyle Juszczyk. Is that how you say it? She does that. But honestly, I think Clara Kate's coming for Mrs. Juszczyk's job.
I love that. I'm a big Juice guy, love his wife, love Claire Kate even more than both of them, though.
You can send in your own custom ideas and she will come up with a design. She's just the best. Look up Clara Kate Creations on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and more. Like what Tom Izzo has built and what he stands for feels more like a family than anything you will find in college basketball, except for maybe Duke's Brotherhood. That's probably it. Outside of that, but even that, I would argue even that, Michigan State's family-like culture and atmosphere is ahead of that because at Duke, you go there for 3 months and then you claim that you're in a brotherhood. Michigan State, that's not what you do. If you come to Michigan State, it's very rare a kid comes to Michigan State planning on being in the NBA 6 months later. And Ethan Taylor would be one of them. But even the guys like Jaren Jackson, even the guys that know we're only going to be here for 5 months, those guys still commit to Michigan State because they want to feel like they're part of the family for life. And when I saw that video of Ethan Taylor at Midnight Madness, man, how could you not commit to it? Like this is a kickoff event for a team that just won the Big Ten by 3 games. And the entire student body is chanting your name as a 17-year-old 5-star center more than they're chanting for Cohen Carr and Jeremy Fears. Like that, this is just applaud the fan base for knowing the assignment, whoever set this up. And I mean, they have an educated fan base. I bet you, like, if Ethan Taylor went to Michigan, Michigan fans probably don't even know who he is. And I say that as a Michigan fan. So, they care about basketball and they crushed this. And I think it's gotten to a point, truly. You're right. The one thing you said that I think I agree with, Kansas getting a bunch of other commitments right around when Ethan Taylor was considering them feels like it might have closed the door on Kansas, and Kansas seemed like the biggest threat here. But the other biggest threat here was Indiana, and the reports coming out of the Indiana visit were, yeah, it wasn't all that great. So, man, Michigan State, like all you can do is give them a round of applause for this. I think this is the best cycle, regardless of who commits and who doesn't at this point. This is the best cycle for Tom Izzo that I've seen in 2 decades. He's done everything right. And at this point, honestly, he deserves to get a couple of these kids on top of what he's already done for how well he's recruited.
No, absolutely. Well, I do want to defend the Brotherhood real quick. As a member of it, I just want to say, like, family knows no location, family knows no bounds, family knows no time commitment. Family's forever. And that's why, well, that's what makes the Brotherhood special. Whether you're here with us for 6 months, 6 years, you're here with us forever, regardless. And that's why we don't do NAL. We do friends and family payments on Venmo.
Can I
Um,
get an updated list from you on all of the quote unquote families that you currently are in? in college basketball because you've got boiler up golf balls. You're speaking on behalf of the Brotherhood as an operating member, apparently. Give me the full list, please.
Yeah, so member of the Brotherhood, J-Man texted me. We're good. We're locked in. Um, Me and Kentucky, toxic relationship, but we do have one. It's very up and down. When it's high, very high. When it's low, very low. Purdue, bit of a rental, but they've allowed me to be in for the year, and I think that matters. And by the way, if Omer's there for 2 years, we're extending the contract a little bit. We're at least there till Omer's gone. I'm flirting with Illinois at the moment. I can't wrap my head around not liking Illinois for whatever reason, and then obviously where AJ goes, I go. Simple as that.
Okay. All right. So a lot going on there, very clearly, but thank you. Just didn't even realize you were a member of the Brotherhood, and I guess you are an operating card holder of it. Yeah, I don't know, man. On the other logistical note of this, the Tipton update seems especially great for Michigan State here. Not only because it said decision coming soon, and obviously Michigan State's out in front right now, they may have done enough, but Oregon wasn't mentioned. And Oregon was one of the schools that I think we were worried about throwing a crazy bag at. The report was like, he doesn't want to go to Oregon, but there's a number in front of him that's making him look. Oregon's not even getting a mention from Tipton after the Michigan State visit. That's huge. Now, Oklahoma's the other school apparently trying to play the money game here, and they did get a mention. But no, to me, I haven't heard anything to dissuade this. So, me personally, I'm expecting Ethan Taylor to commit to Michigan State. And if so, I think this is the best front court player Michigan State's had since Jaren Jackson. You got to clap your hands for Tom Izzo and the Spartan fan base for getting this done.